Hello Virgo, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Virgo is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Virgo, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. Okay, the Hanged Man is kind of your general vibe right now. This is a card of suffering, sacrifice. This is a card maybe that is wondering, like, are we being punished for something, right? This might be a card of introspection. This might be a card right now that says your vibe is kind of like you're more introverted than you usually are. I feel like you're kind of looking deep inside for maybe the source of your suffering or the source of this issue that we're having. Your vibe right now is kind of, I feel like we're kind of done serving the needs of other people. And we're trying to live a life in service to what is true and real inside of us. Yeah. I feel like you're somebody that generally would give people the shirt off your back. Somebody calls you in the middle of the night, needs help, you're there. Right? Anybody has, an event, or their kids have an event, or their cousins, kids, friends, sisters, brothers, little cousin Tracy or whatever. You're there, and you're showing up, and you're bringing something, and you're okay. You're going to make the fruit salad. You're going to make this. You're going to make that, and then you're there. I feel like that's kind of shifting now. I feel like that we might be noticing that things haven't been as reciprocal as we would like. Not that things are supposed to be transactional, but I think you're kind of coming to that point where I'm just going to I'm going to slow down on how much I'm giving to everybody else, because there's some areas where it's not really coming back to you. Okay? And so we might be having that general vibe right now that says, why do I continue to suffer for everybody else, but then nothing is coming back to me? Okay, we got to put this card into a little bit of context and see what we're doing with this vibe right now, right? Well, we're doing an eight of Pentacles, okay? Patience, cultivation, perhaps paying attention to more details. This is the Sun in Virgo, so this is a very special card for you, okay? We have a 6 of Swords, we have the Hierophant, we have a 5 of Pentacles, you have a 7 of Cups, and I think the 7 of Cups is very fine because we're seeing things for the way they are. Okay, we have a 6 of Cups now, very good. 4 of Swords makes perfect sense. The 3 of Swords and a 4 of Pentacles. We're being a little bit more safe, a little bit more guarded. We're trying to stabilize our own energies right now. I think you're somebody that loves to do things for other people. You love connecting with other people. You have this strong sense of, like, I want to have a big family. I want to have a big community. I don't mind suffering and sacrificing for the people that I love, but not everybody should get it, So let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to put it right here with Alien, Simon Mork Ripley, right there on top. And we're not going to look at that card until the very end. But it will tie everything together, and it will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any point during this message you feel like you might know what that card could be, put your prediction in the comments down below. Now, who does the Italian food? Is that your family or somebody else's family that's always with the Italian food? Or a particular person in your life that was always with the Italian food? Yeah, that's coming through quite fondly. I think that is kind of making me hungry. But let's look around the room, because we see 2 major arcana energies. And right now I feel like that's kind of the spiritual dilemma for you, is that maybe you've grown up in a life through family and this sort of thing where you were sort of taught that, you should be of service to people. Okay? You've been kind of trained on this idea of service and charity and generosity and, giving and giving and giving to other people. And maybe we're wondering, where did that shift? Where did that go wrong for me? Where did it become too much? Okay? And we have a 3 of Swords over here too. Let's not forget that 3 of Swords. Because we're starting to wonder now, is like this idea of being of service and of being so generous with everybody else and sort of stopping what we're doing in order to answer the call of anybody that might need us. Someone's in trouble at 3 in the morning and you're running off to go rescue people, and how much of that is leading to your own sort of detriment? There's a point where that isn't going to really be so healthy for you anymore, So the Hierophant is, I think, a history of sort of, believing that, we should be of service. And I think we all should, of course. But there has to be a boundary, there has to be a line. And I wonder if the 4s here are us making them boundaries. Yeah, boundaries. With the Hanged Man and the Hierophant, for a long time, this goes sort of unchecked, right? That we've been sort of, imprinted with this idea. It's a story, it's a programming that we should be subservient, that we should be at the beck and call of someone else. Maybe there was a parental figure that, maybe when you grew up, you were the one doing all the cooking and all the cleaning for everybody. You were the one doing all the laundry, and it's kind of like that's something that we carry with us into adulthood, and we live that way now. It could be even at work, other people are saying, oh gosh, I'm running behind on my work. Can you help me? And you say, yeah, sure, I'll help you. But you're behind on yours too. And you're getting further and further behind because you're always giving your energy to other people, and there's not enough now for us to take care of what we have to do. So we have our majors. We don't have any fire right now. Okay. Maybe the mystery card. I'm kind of getting a warm feeling over here. We've got, we've got water. And the Hanged Man, I should say, is pure water. It's a baptism by water. So I feel like your vibe is, I'm searching deep inside now. I'm going to go diving down into the depths of myself, and I'm going to find out, what am I doing and why am I doing it, and how do things need to change? Why do I feel like I'm suffering so much? Okay, so this is that water, and this is the sort of alternatives. We either have the rotten 7 of Cups, or we have the very delightful, harmonious, beautiful, resonant 6 of Cups, the sense of community, the pleasure. We either have pleasure or disgust. Okay, and so with the 8 of Pentacles here, now we also have, of course, our air energies and our earth energies. Okay, so we're exploring how we feel so that we can start to make different choices and move and set some boundaries up in life. With the 8 of Pentacles, I think that the Hanged Man is kind of like searching within. It's kind of like we're not answering the phone for a minute because we're trying to figure out, is the way I'm living my life, is it good for me? Do I feel that there is growth here? And maybe this is a particular relationship, maybe with a Taurus person, maybe with a particular friend or family member, that we seem like we're always kind of in service to them. We're always trying to please them, right? Because that's what the Hanged Man does. When we're kids, it's all about, it's all about putting ourselves in a subordinate position in order to please somebody else, parents, teachers, friends, other authority figures. But now the 8 is us really paying attention to those details. We're having a moment of illumination where we're saying, hey, you know what? My garden isn't growing because I'm so busy tending other people and helping other people with their garden. My garden is withering and dying, and that's not right. So this isn't about us sort of swinging into the opposite direction and saying, I'm done with people. I don't want to have anything to do with anybody. Screw their garden. It's all about me and my garden, right? No, I don't think it's going to be quite like that, but maybe at the start it will be. maybe to begin with, we have to sort of shut our doors and say, no, you know what? I have to make some changes. I have to do what's going to make me feel like I'm in harmony with myself. I have to give my garden a little bit of love, you know? Because it kind of feels with the Hanged Man that we've been giving all this love, but it hasn't been reciprocating, okay? And there's a point where we have to ask, okay, why do I keep giving this love if it's not being reciprocated? Okay, and so this is us looking at our garden and wondering if it's got enough water to grow. There might be one particular relationship feels like it's not working for you as well as you need it to. I feel like you've already had the conversation. I feel like what we're doing is diverting some of our own water. We're going to start watering our own darn garden. Okay? And sometimes that's what we need to do, especially if we're realizing that, a relationship we're in, or a particular, any relationship. I don't think there's one specifically. See, there's no court cards here on the table, right? There's no court cards. There's barely even any human figures, right? There's these two. And this is kind of the spiritual dilemma that we're in. But there's no court cards, there's no human figures here, because I don't think it's about one particular relationship. I think this is about you realizing that generally in life, you can't keep giving away all of your energy, blood, sweat, and tears, all of your love, and not get anything in return, because it's withering your garden. Okay? So I think that we're understanding how we might have to put up some boundaries. We might have to end relationships if we're being taken advantage of, if we're being taken for granted. That might be the Hanged Man. You could be in a state right now where you're feeling taken for granted and underappreciated by people, places, things. Okay. Now up above the surface, we have the Five of Pentacles. You realize that once you turn off the tap, things are going to start to get a little unstable. Right? Kind of have to break a couple eggs here if we're going to make the omelet. So in order for you to have more energy for your own garden, more water for your own garden, more attention, more time, whatever it is, we have to sort of turn the tap off for other people's garden. I need some water for me. It means there's less than I'm giving to everybody else. And guess what? Everybody else is going to notice. So at first we might feel as if our life is getting a little bit worse, that people are angry with us. Well, yeah, because we've changed what they've come to take for granted, what they've come to expect. Oh, Virgo's always going to be there. Virgo's always going to loan me money, or always going to bring the fruit salad, or always going to bail me out when I need them to. But then once we stop doing that all the time for everyone, there are some people that are going to react. Okay? And I think those people, it's kind of like the trash takes itself out. Because when those certain people start to get sort of angry or frustrated, or they start to get all worked up over this choice you're making or this energy shift, that kind of lets us know, okay, well, that's somebody that is obviously has come to rely on my never-ending services and probably isn't the one reciprocating. Because I think the people that truly care about you, your true people, the people that love you, they're going to be very happy that you're doing this. And maybe it's going to inconvenience them a little bit. Okay, it's like people at work. When you say, sorry, I can't do your work because I'm falling behind on mine, I'm going to catch up on my work. They're going to be understanding. And they're going to be helpful. They might even say, well, what can I do to help you then? The people that just get mad at you and walk away and storm off or something, probably aren't your people, So I think you're somebody that is willing to change things around and really willing to risk a little bit of discord in order to bring about more harmony for yourself right now, okay? The Six of Swords underneath the surface. You're somebody that really wants to connect with people. You love people. I think you have, look, you've got a Six of Swords and a Six of Cups. Your heart and your mind, you love people. You love being around people. You love connecting with people. You love sharing ideas. But you want it to be a two-way street. And if it's not, then you're asking yourself, why am I suffering so for other people when it's not it's not that two-way street. Now, this kind of gets into a weird gray area where it's just like, are we being of service and being charitable because we expect something in return? No. But are we willing to be so generous and so charitable that we put ourselves out of house and home? That our cupboards are completely bare, our garden is withered and dead? I think no to that too. Okay. I think that any relationship should be building the both of you up. It's not just one person sort of sucking all the energy out of the other person. Okay, that doesn't seem right to me. And I think it really is it really is an important question, and I think that we need time to be introspective about this. So I feel like you are kind of going, hermit mode a little bit in order to figure this out. Because you want positive, healthy relationships. You want harmony. You want people to be exchanging ideas. It's like you don't mind sharing everything you have with everybody else, but why won't they share with you? Why is it so one-sided? And we're starting to realize those areas in our life where things feel quite one-sided. And there is nothing wrong with calling a spade, right? Calling it for what it is. The Seven of Cups in the future position, recognizing those things in your life that may be masquerading as healthy, fun, exciting, pleasurable relationships, but really are kind of toxic or manipulative, or are sort of taking you for granted. Okay? The Seven of Cups in every other tarot pack looks like a very positive card. It's us seeing this image in the sky of all these beautiful things, but it's just an illusion. It's something masquerading as something that's nourishing for us, right? And I feel like we're being more discerning now. We're paying more attention to the details. I think you notice people's mannerisms. You notice people's subtle things that they say and the things they don't say. You notice the micro expressions. You notice tones of voice, right? You're very perceptive. And that attention to those details is really helping you see things for what they are. You're seeing beyond the facade, the mask, the external appearance of something. Maybe they may seem very friendly, but they're not always what they seem. Okay. And so I feel that you're getting a good gut feeling about some red flags. And for you, if the relationship isn't going to be mutually supportive or encouraging or respectful, and it's not reciprocating in any way, I feel like you see it for the toxic thing that it is, and you're able to sort of step around it. You don't have to step right in it, On the path of the serpent, we have more cards over here, the Six of Cups. Your general energy. This is a card of love, connection, community, beauty, harmony. Your heart wants to love. Your heart wants to be generous and give and give and give. But it's got to work both ways. Now, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. These readings are totally free. I think you're feeling underappreciated. I think there are certain places in your life where some people are taking advantage of you. And I don't read third parties. I can't tell you who somebody else is or why they're doing it. But the way you're looking at it is that these people probably don't realize what they're doing, and it's probably not their fault. I think you're very forgiving. Yeah. But at the same time, you have to be very steadfast, and you have to set some boundaries here. Okay? Because it's time for your suffering to end. It's time for you to connect with the things that are meant for you. And that's what Spirit wants you to do right now. That's why we have these two major arcana energies. It's kind of saying, where did you learn to be so subservient? Where did you learn to always be serving others? This is a very good quality, very noble quality, a very spiritual practice. But if it goes so far, what is it really saying? If it goes so far that your garden is starting to wither and die, why do we do that? Right? And so that kind of is the reference to the Three of Swords. But the Four, to me, feels like a magical circle of protection. These are boundaries, and they are stated in no uncertain terms. I think that you're standing up for yourself, and if the relationships in your life aren't reciprocating, we've given them a chance, we've had a conversation, it's very easy for you to say, I'm not going to do that anymore. I don't want to interact with that person anymore. I'm just not going to call them. I'm not going to answer the phone. I'm not going to go visit them. I'm not going to go out of my way to do extra, to go above and beyond for certain people. Okay. And sometimes that feels wrong, right? It's always, I don't know why that in this world, we have some sort of guilt that it has to be associated with us setting boundaries for people. Now I feel guilty saying no to people. I feel guilty saying, sorry, I can't make it, I'm too tired, or whatever it is, or I just don't want to today, Because I kind of feel like it's difficult for you to say no, that you're so used to saying yes to everybody. But we're doing it now, and I think we're going to, if we do feel some guilt, we're going to get over it. We're going to find a way to just be okay with that. We're going to understand, we're going to look at the guilt with our Three of Swords. We're going to look at the guilt and understand where it's coming from. And understanding that maybe that guilt is some kind of shame or whatever from childhood, where we were, we felt like we were supposed to suffer and sacrifice for the sake of, I don't know, parents or teachers or whatever. I do feel like you were raised in a household where you had to do the cooking, cleaning, laundry, that sort of thing. And if the laundry wasn't done, you were made to feel quite guilty about that. Okay, and so now we kind of have a difficult time saying no. We almost feel like it's our job, it's our obligation. Yeah, but you're learning that. You're doing this deep inner spiritual work that's allowing you to realize where those complexes come from, where that programming originated, so that you can deal with it in real time. We can't get rid of it. We can overwrite it with better habits and new programming. But this is something that's going to be there. And I think that, we don't ever get over this. We don't ever undo it. But by recognizing it, we can choose a different behavior. Okay? And I think that's very important for you right now, because you've got a lot of love in your heart. You want to love. You've got the Six of Cups as your general energy, right? You are radiating out love. You want to connect with people. You want to build a community. You want to be part of the team. You want to live and love. And we want this. We don't want this. And so we're realizing that I need boundaries. I need to see things for what they are. I need to recognize. I need to pay attention, and I need to say no when it's no. I need to have I need to have the ability to cut things off. I think you're somebody who you can cut people off pretty quickly when you need to. If you realize that this is not a healthy situation for you, you can end it. You can block the number. You can tell them thank you, no thank you, and that's the end of it. And I think people really like you for that quality. People feel that they can trust you. People feel as if they can share things with you, but people also know that like you're willing to tell it like it is. Yeah. And I think that you have an honesty about you. And I think that is one of your best qualities. Okay. But the Three of Swords is a restriction. This is a complex that's been created in our young adulthood or childhood that is supposed to keep us safe, right? So this is that complex that says, well, I better do the laundry, the dishes, and whatever, do all the cooking, cleaning, and laundry because that's going to keep me safe. That's going to keep everybody being nice to me. Everyone's going to be happy, and things are going to run smoothly today. So I better get everything done. And so that's a complex that is now active in our life, or gets activated at some moments, and it thinks it's protecting us. So it's not bad. We don't want to feel guilty for having this complex. We don't want to be mad at the complex. We have to acknowledge it and say, you know what, thank you for your service. I understand that you think you're doing what's right for me, but I got it from here. I'll take over, Because then now in adulthood, we feel like, oh, I better do what everybody, wants me to do, what everybody expects of me, so that they'll like me, they'll be happy, and things will be smooth. I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to upset anybody. And recognizing this is allowing us to be much more honest with ourselves and much more honest with other people. Okay? The Four of Pentacles is a stability. Okay? It is now us focusing on those things that matter the most to us, focusing on our priorities, what is important to you, not what is important to everybody else. What does everybody else expect of you? What do you expect of yourself? Okay, the Four of Pentacles is safety, security, stability, realizing that even if people are mad at me because I couldn't do their homework, I'm fine. They can go ahead and be upset. I'm fine. I'm going to be safe and stable and secure, and I'm going to have harmony and love in my heart anyway. If they don't, that's on them. I don't really care. Okay, so finding security and stability within ourselves through setting boundaries and realizing that, you can't please all the people all the time. And if you try, you're going to suffer. Okay. Let's look at the mystery card. Yeah. I want something beautiful. I want another 6. I want another 6 of cups, or maybe even a 9 or a 10 of cups, something like that. Yeah, if you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Let's see what we have. The Page of Cups. The Page of Cups. Nice. This is a summons from the universe. This is, I think, a lot of dreams. I think you're somebody who has been experiencing much more sort of paranormal activity, right? Much more synchronicity, a lot of signs and symbols, a lot of things, sort of big billboards flashing in your life that are saying, hey, pay attention, okay? Because things are not in the harmony that we want them to be in. And so Spirit wants you to look at things. Spirit wants you to do this and understand, how you're truly feeling about things and why you feel that way and what we really should do about it. So to me, this is the Twin Peaks card. This is the fish in the percolator, right? There's something there that we need to pay attention to. We may not understand what it is, but we should follow that thread. Okay? Because I think Spirit is trying to lead you to a new sense of stability and security, and not the repeating of this complex, not the repeating of this story or this programming, but real security within yourself. Okay, the Page of Cups is also somebody who is, recognizing a lot of their really true desires, their true feelings, and not having to put them on the back burner for somebody else, not having to deny what I want because other people want everything and they have to go first because they are more important than me, so their needs have to be met before mine can be met. This is now us paying attention and kind of realizing, again, for the first time, that, hey, I have needs and wants and desires too, and I need to focus on them a little bit. And not just ignoring this card because everybody else has to come first. You will never get a turn. If you let everybody go before you, you're never going to get a turn. It's like merging on the freeway. You ever have people on the freeway that are just so generous and so courteous that they're letting everybody merge in front of them? They're letting everybody go. And then you're sitting behind them thinking, just go, please. It's supposed to be harmony. It's not supposed to be, one person disrupts traffic to let everybody go first. There's such thing as being too courteous, And that's kind of what we're sort of feeling here, is that we're causing more disruption in our own lives by being too attentive to the needs of others. We've got to be attentive to our own needs sometimes. And realize that, for life to function properly, there has to be a balance between the courtesy and the sort of the self-assertiveness. I feel like I'm a very courteous driver. I let people go ahead of me. I let people merge in front of me. I let people go first at the stop sign. But it's then I take my turn. I don't let everybody go first and then, maybe an hour later when all the cars have gone by, well, then I'll go. No, it's you go, then I go, and then in the next situation, it's going to be, I'll let them go and then I'll go. And so it's balanced and there's harmony there. Okay. Anyway, we're going to do an extended reading. We'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. But because this is a bonus reading for you, we're just going to go straight into the extended. Okay, if you want to join the channel and get access to all of the extended readings for all of the readings that I do, you can click on the link in the corner. There's also a link down below in the video description. New readings for Virgo on Tuesdays and Saturdays. This is a bonus reading, like I said, but be sure to watch both of your other readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together. All right, let's get into the extended reading. I appreciate you sticking around. Like I said, we're going to do an I Ching hexagram. We're going to do some oracle cards. We'll even do more tarot. Let's see what your hexagram is. Oh, we got 2 and a hidden one. We got 33, which changes, ooh, interesting, to 38, estrangement. Okay. Well, let's start with 33. That's where we are beginning with 33, and that is going to change to 38. So 33 is distancing. And I feel like that's what we're doing right now. We're getting put in a little space between us and everything else going on. Okay? Below heaven is the mountain, distancing. The noble one, accordingly, is remote from the small people, not with ill will, but with dignity, distancing, success. For the small, it's worthwhile to persevere. So the first thing we're doing is stepping away from the situation. The Hanged Man is sort of, introspecting, going hermit mode a little bit in order to get a strong assessment, an accurate assessment of what's going on. This is to retreat, to step back, to detach, to withdraw. Okay? Keep negative or wrong people at a distance by being firm without being harsh. There will be success, and persisting can help accomplish small things. The mountain stands high against the horizon, but heaven is not diminished by this. There's a choice of distance and scale. If what we are doing isn't working, we should be doing something differently. We are missing information that might be available from a larger picture and more complete context. When carried out with shrewd discernment, retreat is a strategy for success. The superior person removes themselves from disintegrating forces without calling attention to themselves. They control their weaknesses by maintaining their purpose. With the possible exception of a couple of lines here, there's no ambiguity. It's retreat, a clear injunction to remove yourself from an inferior situation, influence, emotion, or way of thinking or behavior. You're pulling back, you're distancing. People will feel the distance, right? And what does that lead to? That leads to 38. And 38 is estrangement, right? So the distancing then becomes kind of permanent, right? So first it's a pulling back and a withdrawing. But then for some people, that's going to become estrangement. That's going to become, I'm going in a completely different direction. So not only, first there's distance, and then I'm going my own way. Does that make sense? To me, it feels like they're perfectly connected. Above the fire, above is the fire, while below is the lake. Estrangement. The noble one, accordingly, affiliates but is also separate. Estrangement. In small matters, it is auspicious. Divergence, a dissociation, right? A discord, a polarizing, a parting of ways. In relating to others, accept your differences. If you can find success in small things, there's polarization, distinctiveness. The individual nature has divergent, unique points of view. To maintain self-esteem, we pick our battles and don't overreach. Victory in small and unimportant things. In resolving disputes, begin with their least controversial aspects. Respect alternative points of view. Okay? So the distancing becoming estrangement. First, we take a step back. We get a good, honest assessment of what's going on. And then we make the choices about what things to walk away from. So the distancing then becomes greater distancing. It becomes walking away altogether. Okay? Whether this is in a particular relationship or just generally in life, first we need to take a step back and look at things honestly. And then we'll know what things to cling to and which things to then diverge from, see? So first is the meditation, and then is the divergence. I think that's absolutely perfect. I think it's right on. We're going to do an angel number as a mystery card. We'll do an oracle of empowerment. The adventure of life. I embrace the adventure of my life. Today I am courageous enough to try something difficult to achieve my goals. Yeah, and that difficulty is sort of going our own way. Trying to live our own adventure now, and not in service to others, and not trying to fulfill the expectations of others. Let's do an oracle of the radiant sun. The flirtation. The flirtation means kind of like we've, I kind of feel like it's similar to what we see as like movie tropes, or it's even kind of in the Cinderella story, right? As soon as Cinderella starts kind of like daydreaming or imagining a better life, there come the wicked stepmothers to say, get back to work. So the most that we've ever been able to do is sort of flirt with the idea of living a different life, but never actually do it because something snaps us back to our obligation to be of service, and snaps us back to our suffering, right? Something is always there to sort of remind us of where we really are when we start to sort of flirt with this idea of doing something different, living a different way, or having some other different kind of energy in our life. So to me, that's what the flirtation is all about. Okay, how it's never been able to go past that because of that Hierophant. So an oracle of creativity. Innovation. Have fun and experiment. Invent something that surprises and has never existed before. Well, yeah, it's never existed before because you haven't done anything more than just flirt with it. But now we're creating something that is going to be, creating something or inventing something that's never been there, and we're having fun. So I think we're kind of following our fish in our percolator here with this mystery card, and we're going forward with those feelings. We're allowing our desires to sort of have a little bit of say in like what we want, what we need, so that our garden can grow. And I think that this is going to feel like a liberation for you. Let's look at a oracle of Metatron. The transformation, light and dark. I think this is a transformation of your life. Okay. It's a transformation that is going to bring us, more harmony. Transforming the Seven of Cups to the Six of Cups. Okay, transforming what is toxic and what is manipulative, or what is, being taken for granted. Transforming that to real love and real community, real reciprocating thing. You're diverging from those that aren't your people, and you're clinging to those that are your people, right? And so that feels really, really good. We're going to do the Path of the Serpent with the Pamela Coleman Smith Tarot. You have a Ten of Swords. Very interesting. Ten of Swords is how we are recognizing that maybe we've been sabotaging ourselves. Maybe we've been stabbing ourselves in the back for a long time. And we're not blaming ourselves for our suffering, but we're saying, I'm not going to put up with it anymore. I'm not going to sabotage myself anymore. I'm not going to betray myself. And so you're able to put an end to things quickly. You're able to recognize, okay, if this relationship isn't working, it's over. Simple. So I feel that's really an empowerment for you, being able to do that. Here we have the Knight of Wands. This, I think, is you, again, sort of doing the same thing. Very quickly trusting yourself that if something is violating one of your boundaries, you're very quick to you're very quick to take action. You're very quick to say, nope, get out of here. Yeah, you're very quick to decide and take action there. We have the Two of Wands because we realize that once we acknowledge the complex is active in our life, in that moment we have a choice. We don't have to let that program run. We can interrupt it and run our own program, do our own thing, make a different choice, do something else. So it's in that moment where we're in the real-time, activities of life where we recognize the complex is coming online. We have that chance, that short window where we can make a different choice. And that's the Two of Wands, right? Our will can take us in a different direction. There we have the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands to me feels like a huge responsibility in your life to live life for yourself. It is a huge task, but at the same time, I kind of feel that your burden is lighter, because you don't have everybody else's burden too, just your own. and how you're managing your life and how you're going to have the harmony, the balance, and the sense of community. You still want to be of service, but it feels better to be of service in the right way than in a way that is tearing us down inside. Yeah, I like that. Let's look at the mystery card. Angel number 1122, a great shift. Personal growth, spiritual development, and manifesting goals, oneness, connection, and completion. First, focus on the positive changes occurring due to your efforts. Then, expand your horizons and permit yourself to try something new. So many positive shifts are in store for you. The world around you is changing in favor of your intentions. Once we make the changes, once we set our intention and set our boundaries, the world's gonna sort of mirror that. The world's gonna conform a little bit. Okay, you have the ability to change your life. We got to change our perspective, change our attitude, and we change the world around us. Okay, we can change our personal reality. So that's a very important card. Anyway, I want to thank you for being here. I appreciate you greatly. I love you deeply, and I hope to see you again very soon.